We got an oxygen sensor that needs to be replaced. Let's get to work. This is what we're working on today, a 2006 Acura TL. This Acura has a 3.2 liter V6 engine, so this procedure is going to be pretty similar for any Acura or Honda that you come across that has a J series V6 engine like this one, because they're all set up pretty much the same. Back there we have bank 1 for this engine, up here we have bank 2. Now we're going to be replacing the bank 2 sensor 2. So this is bank 2 sensor 1, and then down there, hopefully you can see the silver part or goldish part right there, right in the middle. That's going to be our bank 2 sensor 2. That's the one that's given us trouble on this vehicle. It set a check engine light for a P0159, so that's why we're going to be replacing it. On the other side of the engine, bank 1, it's set up very similarly. So what you see here is exactly what it would be looking like back there. You just got more stuff in the way that would have to be removed in order to replace the bank 1 sensor 1 sensor, which would look like this, but right back there. That one, yeah, you'd have to remove some stuff to get to it. The one on the bottom, pretty easy to get to. It's out in the open. This one obviously is out in the open. That would be easy to get to, this bank 2 sensor 1. Bank 2 sensor 2, we can unplug it from up here, but we'll go ahead and try to get it from the bottom because we got too much stuff in the way to try to access it from the top. Now if we follow our sensor along underneath the engine mount, we can see, well, hopefully you can see the wiring is right here. It comes out right here, and then it should be, where is it? There's a spot for it to be pinned right here, so it should be pinned right there. And then it comes up to this connector right here. So if we look at the back side of this connector, we should be able to just pinch the tab in and pull it down and release it. So that releases the whole thing. And then we just kind of have a standard connector there where we just have to pinch it and pull the two apart. I'm going to need 2 hands to do that, but that's all we have to do is disconnect that. Now I'm going to go ahead and raise the vehicle up in the air and put it on jack stands. That way we can take a look underneath. Now, looking from the front of the vehicle, I'll show you where the lift point is for our jack. Right here, right in the middle where this hole is. And if we forget, there's usually an arrow right here indicating this is where it goes. So here, this area right here, that's where we're going to put the jack. And if we look behind the front wheels, this reinforced bracket right here, that's where we're going to put our jack stand, one on each side. We'll go ahead and chock the rear wheels. And there's a little bit better view of the jack placement. And you can check out the placement of the jack stands. Of course, we have one on each side. We're not going to get under a vehicle with only a jack. Alright, let's take a look at things underneath the vehicle. Alright, so there's our little arrow. This is where we put our jack. If we look right past that, over here, right there is our oxygen sensor. So it's kind of tight right there. We got this fancy cover in the way. So this cover right here, we're going to have to remove so we have a little bit of room so we can get to that oxygen sensor. Alright, to get this cover off, we got a bolt right here. And let's see, where's the other one? There's another bolt right up in there. So we got 2 of those bolts, and then we should have 3 or 4 clips. Let's see, we got a clip there, a clip here, and one right here. So there's 4 of them. You can see that's an aftermarket one. It's kind of round all the way. This one is a factory original one. You can see it has a little indentation right there for tools. So no big deal, but we'll just have to get all 4 of these clips out and then the couple bolts. I usually just use a tool like this and a little screwdriver to pop these out. These aftermarket ones sometimes are a little more of a pain. This one looks alright. It's like that. Alright, using a 10mm socket, we'll just pop these 2 bolts out. And with the cover out of the way, here's a little bit better look at our oxygen sensor. So you can see we don't have a lot of room in there. And of course that's our bank 2 sensor 2. If we follow this back, right there, that's going to be our bank 1 sensor 2. So if you needed to replace your bank 1 sensor 2, it would be right there. A little more room right there, although this is kind of in the way, covering up a little bit, but you can still get to it. When it comes to removing oxygen sensors, we have quite a few options as far as sockets go. We have this style, it's kind of offset, and use it with a ratchet. You have this style that's more like a regular socket. Of course, they all have little openings in them for the wiring, to go over the wiring. And you have this style which has the actual handle all in one. This is probably my favorite one, but a lot of times this won't fit. And then we have the option of just cutting the wires and using either a 7/8 inch socket or a 22 millimeter. Now this sensor is pretty darn long. I'm not sure if we cut the wiring if a regular socket will fit over the end. So we'll have to, you know, just look around, see which one of these is going to work the best for this application. So if we look at where our oxygen sensor is at, and of course this vehicle's cold. This thing would be blazing hot if the vehicle had just been running. It's been sitting overnight, so I recommend let it sit before you try to mess with these because they're going to be really hot. But anyway, you can see our heat shield for our catalytic converter is in the way. We can remove it, but it's kind of a pain, so I'd rather just leave it in place and see if we can pop it loose where it's at. But this is kind of, you know, protruding out, and our sensor is kind of, you know, recessed down in there, which makes it a little more challenging if we leave this in place. Alright, now I already pushed the wires up out of the way, so we'll grab this wrench, kind of slide it over the end here, like that, and we can see it doesn't grab. It's not quite long enough to reach down in there because this is in the way. So that is not going to work. And something like these would be the same thing. They're not deep enough to get past this right here. So we can't use this style. Now this one is a bit longer, so it's definitely deep enough. So if we put it on there, but you can see I can't get it in the correct position. The hex part on there is in a little bit different position, and we don't have enough room to turn this far enough to grab it. So this one's not going to work either. Now we'll try this one. And that looks like it's going to work. Alright, so we'll try this one. If it's on there super tight, it can start spreading these sockets. So hopefully it's not on there ridiculously tight. If it is, then we'll have to do something else. But I think for now, we'll try to get it off with this socket right here. Now, if we put our ratchet right here, you can see we don't have enough room. This is in the way, and this is in the way right here. But I think if we put an extension on here and bring it out over here, we should be all right. This is where it helps to have lots of extension combinations. So I think we'll try that one right there. All right, let's see if we got enough room to pop this out. Oh, it's in there tight. Oh, man, that was tight. I think, well, either we broke something or it came loose, but, ooh, that was in there tight. I'm not sure if you could see that it broke free, but hopefully you can tell we're definitely loose now. Now it's just a matter of spinning it out. All right, I just put an extension back on to my oxygen sensor socket, and whoops, there goes my light. But I'm just gonna spin this thing off. It's a little bit of a pain, but it's loose, so we should be able to spin the thing out. There it is. I'm probably gonna drop it. No, it stayed on there. All right, so there it is right there. It helps if you kind of grab onto the wire like that when you're spinning it out, otherwise the wire will get tangled up. Here's our new oxygen sensor. This one's made by NTK. Now NTK makes oxygen and AFR sensors for Honda, so I don't mind using aftermarket. But this is the part number for this one, 24259. Hopefully it's correct. Hopefully it matches up with our old one. Okay, here's our new one. Here's our old one. I'm not sure who makes this one. I don't believe it's a factory one because we don't have the factory clips that should be on there. And this one just looks a little different. Might be a Bosch or something like that. But if we look, you know, if we would have just cut the wiring and put the socket over there, I don't believe that socket would have fit in there. I think it would have been like that. It's hard to say. I mean, I could cut it, I guess, and then try it. This one, no problem. If this was the old one, we could have cut the wires and put a 22 or a 7/8 socket on there, no problem. But this one, these are pretty deep. So anyway, I do believe that this one will work out just fine. Connections, everything the same, and we have our attachment points. Hopefully these are in the right spot. If we look at our new sensor here, it's got a cover over the threads here, and hopefully you can tell, maybe you can't on the camera, but there's some anti-seize already on the thread on there. NTKs usually come with anti-seize already on the threads. If it didn't, then we'd want to put some on the threads. Right, you know, right along there. We don't need a ton and we don't want to goop up the sensor, but right on the threads we want anti-seize, so we'll be able to get it out next time. Now, I'm just going to take the oxygen sensor and put it in there. Try not to bring it all up. Come on, come on. And just try to get it started and threaded in by hand right here. I might have to put the camera down and get it started, but I'm just going to try to get it started right here. I may have to use the oxygen sensor socket. We'll see. Alright, using the old 2-finger tangle. I think we got it started. Yeah, it seems to be going in. Definitely no room here. And we of course don't want to get this all twisted up. And it looks pretty snug right there. We should be able to tighten it up at that point. Alright, to snug it up, I'm using the same setup I used to take it off. 2 little extensions with this socket. Of course, we just have the wire, you know, through our socket there, so it's not being pinched. But we just got to make sure that it's all the way over the hex portion of our sensor there. So I'll just put a 3/8 inch socket on there and we'll get it snugged up. These are only 33 foot-pounds, so I don't think that we can get a torque wrench in here. If you can, great. If not, then, you know, don't be silly about it. It's only about the same tightness as our oil drain plug. So now we'll just get it snugged up. There's a shot of it all snugged up. There was just enough room to get a torque wrench in there. Now, our new oxygen sensor has a couple of attachment points, and this should be like the OEM one, in addition to obviously being plugged in, and then the plug clips on there where we first removed it. But I believe this one, I don't know if you can see it, but I believe right here on this bracket, there's a square right here for it. So that should clip in. I'm going to plug it in first. And then up a little higher, there's another spot on a bracket where this second clip goes. So as long as these are in the right place, then it should clip in nicely. But I think we'll just fish this up, and then I'll go up top and we'll plug it in first. Now I'll just reach down there and grab our sensor. We'll get this plugged in. Which way does it go? Does it go this way? I think so. Alright, and then it should just kind of clip on to the bottom like that. Alright, so now that's in place. Now we just got to clip it in. Now I don't know if I can get this one from the top here. Whoops, pulling everything apart. There we go. Now it's all clipped into place and plugged back in. Now we'll double check things. We got our sensor snugged down, we got it clipped in place, and we got it plugged in. I think we're good to go. We should be able to put the cover back on. Alright, we got the cover back in place and secure. Now we'll go ahead and lower the vehicle back down to the ground. Yeah, we won't forget our wheel chocks. Go ahead and clear the codes. We'll just go in and look at some live data real quick. You can see right away that our Bank 2 Sensor 2 went active pretty fast, faster than the other one. We can see the amperage that each one of those sensors is pulling is pretty close to the same. See how they respond on a snap throttle? Yeah, they're right in time together. So I think we got a confirmed fix. Make sure no codes popped up and no fault codes detected. Alright, now the vehicle does need to be driven, but that's a good sign. Well, that's it for this one, and as always, if the video helped you out or you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.